Hello and welcome to Two Therapists and a Microphone. I am Dr. Harrison Davis.
And I am Dr. Aisha Dickerson.
Two Therapists and a Microphone is a show about mental health, relationships, and social issues that personally affect you. We broadcast live every Thursday evening at 7:30 p.m. on our Black Media Network.
Harrison and I are two licensed psychotherapists with decades of clinical experience, and we want to hear from you. We want to hear about your situations and dilemmas that you're going through. So please send us your questions by visiting www.twotherapist.com and click on Ask Two Therapists at the top of our page. We will address your questions, and we're going to start
Absolutely,
doing that
because we
tomorrow.
got a question today. We got another dilemma. But before we start, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, we had the American Counseling Association conference here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Dear.
And I just want to congratulate my co-host, Dr. Aisha Dickerson, for doing an amazing job.
Thank
Not
you.
only was she hosting the conference as the president and chairperson of the ACA of Georgia, but she was also recently elected to be the president-elect of the Association for Multicultural Counseling and Development. And I went out to check her out and support her, and you did a lot. You did a great job. I just want to
Thank you.
congratulate you on that.
I appreciate that. And more than that, I appreciate you coming out to support me and help me. It's always good to see a happy face when you're dealing with all the other faces.
All
And
right. I know what that's like. So today is another wellness topics day. And we have I received another email from a guest or audience member. That's what we should call it. But I have an update for the audience and for you, Aisha,
Good, yeah,
on
because I
our
don't know this.
last wellness topic. Do you remember the last situation?
I do. So for those of you who weren't here for that, I can kind of give an update. We had a young woman who had a fiance, and for all intents and purposes, he is a good man. He loves her. She said that they had absolutely no issues, but she also had her ex-boyfriend who she'd been kind of sneaking around with, and her question was, what should she do?
Yeah, exactly. So she went back to her homecoming game, her college homecoming back in North Carolina, uh, and started reconnecting with the ex.
Mm.
And he came down to visit her sometime recently, about a month or so ago, and they had sex. And so she was just curious about which direction to go, whether or not she should stay with a fiance who seemed like a cool guy,
Hmm.
who's getting his MBA. That's right. And then the ex who was a known liar and he cheated on her.
Right. We call him the fun dick guy.
The fun dick guy, yes.
Mhm.
And so she reached back out after she heard the episode, and I decided to have a little phone conversation with her, and I had to eventually refer her to a counselor because there's an update for it. So she had to go to the doctor, um, and she got diagnosed with an STD.
Oh no. Fun dick guy gave her something, huh?
And well, she thought it was the boyfriend because they've been together for a while.
She thought it
That's
was the one who
I'm sorry, she thought it was the fiance,
the fiance, the good guy.
and went and confronted him about it. He denied it, and he went to get a test, and he came back negative.
I'm trying to figure out why she didn't assume it was fun dick guy in the first place.
She was hoping it was the fiance,
Oh
and
no.
actually thought, but it gets better. So during that same time, they gave her a pregnancy test as well. And she had just that day when I talked to her a couple of days ago, um, came back positive pregnancy.
So
So
what's the plan?
she's going to terminate the pregnancy.
Oh,
She doesn't know if she's going to tell the boyfriend. She really doesn't know whose baby it is.
okay.
But the fiance rather, does not have a STD. He went and got checked out. She got one that she can clear up. Thank God. I think it's an STI,
Mm.
and she's pregnant. So what I want to ask you, Aisha, what's the moral of that story?
Well,
Because you said it last week.
did I?
Hmm.
What was the moral I gave
Well,
last
here's
week?
the part I got. When the devil shows up in your life,
I did say that,
you
didn't I?
did. When I call them demons,
Mhm.
when the devil dispatches demons into your world, your life, you need to be able to recognize them and you need to just cast them out.
Because
That
they're
young
always
man,
coming to mess up something good.
yes,
Oh, the only purpose is to seek happiness and destroy it.
yes, absolutely. So that's the update on that. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. She's going to go see a client, a counselor, and I wish her the best. But she did listen to the show. She was very thankful for the information, but she needed to know what to do next. She wanted me to be her counselor, but I can't do it. But that goes to show you, like you said, we need to be able to recognize those demons in our life because it sounds like whether or not she was going to stay with the fiance or not, I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure he didn't appreciate being confronted about a STD that he never had.
Well, and then I wonder if he is believing that, some kind of way she got it from. I've seen women and men say something about sitting on a public toilet, or coming up with some random way that they contracted an STI, and if he accepted that and moved on, or if he is now questioning her loyalty, which
Yeah,
is what I would be doing.
yeah, yeah.
But then also, I think we noted that they are young.
20.
I'm not sure.
She's 26.
Okay, not that young. Never mind. Whatever I was about to say, I'm going to reel that back in.
But
26 is
I
not
just
that
wanted to
young.
give a update on that. Wish you well.
Yes.
No, and you got some decisions to make. But for the rest of the audience, like Dr. Aisha said last week, I firmly believe it. You got to detect those demons. They're just out there to destroy you and your situation. And now I believe that relationship is ruined, and she's got to get an abortion and had to clear up the STI, and the boyfriend is aware of the STI. So
I mean, she doesn't have to get an abortion.
that's what
I
she
guess.
said to me.
Okay,
She
well,
doesn't know who's the dad.
I am so certain that you referred her to a good therapist,
I did.
and if she needs any help, if the therapist you referred her to does not have any openings, I have a few at my office that I could refer her to
Okay.
as well. So don't give up. Come
Yep.
and talk to somebody, because now at this point, what we want for you is for you not to make this a pattern, for you to
Yes.
just learn from your error, your dilemma, we'll say, because I won't call it a mistake, for you to learn from
Decisions.
your decision, yes, and move on, be better because of it.
Absolutely. So now we're going to move on to the new email that I got from
Okay.
the website. You guys can go to twotherapist.com, click on Ask Two Therapists. So here we have a 27-year-old female. I'm gonna read this slower than last time because
Okay.
I tend to get tongue tied. 27-year-old female. I moved to Atlanta with my best friend after college, and we purchased a home together. She and I have known each other for 8 years. Lately, she's been acting funny because I make friends easier than her. I'm more outgoing and I have a new group of friends, but she does not get along with any of them. I guess she feels left out, but I try to include her when we all go out. She says that she does not feel like being around people, and I don't know if she's depressed. But anyway, I,
Moving on.
I tried to introduce her to some of the guys in my friend group. She dated a couple of them, but nothing came of it. Well, I recently started dating one of the guys who I introduced to her almost a year ago. He said they went out on 2 dates and she was no fun. So he stopped texting her. She discovered that he and I are dating. She has good English. She discovered that he and I are dating when he stayed over a few nights last week. Was I
At the
wrong?
house that y'all shared together.
Was I wrong for doing that?
Yes.
She's mad and said that I should have told her before he slept over. Then she said I should not date any of her exes. I think she's jealous and overreacting. Now she wants us to sell the house, and I don't know what to do. It's not fair. I want to have fun and can date who I want to date. Why should I have to sell my house? Can you help me?
Listen.
Ooh. 27-year-old female. And best friend, known her for 8 years. Yeah, I have to recap in my head. Bought a house. She's not outgoing. Okay. But you don't have to attack her. But she introduced her to a guy. They went out a couple of times, and now this person who wrote the email to me is seeing the guy. He slept over. The roommate discovered. Now she's mad, and now the roommate wants to sell the house.
Hmm. Because the roommate doesn't want to live with you anymore. She doesn't want to be friends with you anymore. It sounds like the friendship was already cracking because maybe you two grew to be other people. But you know what? I'll come back to that. Let me start by talking about girl code and what the issue is that
Yeah, what's
so many
that?
girls why so many girls don't even understand girl code anymore. Back in my day, like I'm in my 60s, but back in my day, if my friend said they liked a man or they liked a guy, whether or not they
That
ever
was
went on a
off
date,
balance to
it
you.
was there are so many other people to pursue that I don't have to go after that. He's 1 in 5 million that's out for the count. Now, sometimes we do have friends who are a little out there. And if we
You mean
just cut,
promiscuous?
yes, let's use that word. And if we count out everyone that they deal with, then we would just really be limiting ourselves. It doesn't sound like your friend was one of those people. So that's my issue number one is girl code. You absolutely broke girl code. Were you wrong? Yes. How many times were you wrong with this particular guy? I'm going to say three. Number one, because you were the one who hooked her up with him.
Yep.
Then number two, you dated him after you hooked her up with him. First of all, I never hook up my friends anyway, because when it goes wrong, it just goes wrong. But number three, you're gonna bring him into the house. So now it's already enough that you're sleeping with him, but you're going to sleep with him in the same house that she also lives in that you two bought together. How is this not fair
Hmm.
for you to lose your house? No, it's you all's house. Because when you buy a house together, you make rules together. When you buy a house with your spouse, you say, I'm not going to bring any random people in here to sleep with them. You make the agreement that both of us are going to keep this mortgage paid. You make the agreement that you're going to protect each other's credit. And to some extent, you're making the agreement that you're going to protect physically and maybe almost emotionally the person that's living in the house with you, because you don't want there to be that much negative energy in your house. In this case, your friend may or may not have been depressed, but you certainly brought negative energy into the house when you brought a man into the house that you sent her on 2 dates with, whether or not she was a bad date. That has nothing to do
It's
with it.
irrelevant.
Absolutely, 100%. So, Harrison, I'm going to let you speak because I could probably go on and on
That's
for
okay.
another 15 minutes.
Well, and we're going to come back to all of that too, because
Okay.
those are some great points that you made. The first thing I want to point out in reading it, the first time I read it, and just now, just the hostility you appear to have towards your friend for 8 years, and if I can do the math, it looks like you two met in college, became BFFs. You were good friends, and you said you moved here to Atlanta together, and you purchased a home together. Usually people purchase a home with their spouse, but you purchase your home with a friend. It's not the first time I've heard of that,
Hmm.
but you were living there. So, where is the loyalty towards your friend where you have a great deal of history, and like Dr. Aisha said, protecting her feelings? So you decided to date the guy you tried to hook her up with, but why did you not tell her before you hooked up with them in the house and let them sleep there overnight in the house? Because it looks like she woke up, or perhaps in the morning or something, saw him, and then she may have become outraged. I don't know what type of arrangement you might have with your housemate who you own the house with, but I am questioning your loyalty and the priority that you're putting on this new guy who you apparently just started dating. But like Dr. Aisha said, I don't know if you two have a girl code or no, like a bro code or something. Hands off anyone that your friend has been dating. But why did you not talk to her about it
So that's
before you
that's the
slept with
part
them?
I'm wondering about. So at some point and so here we come in as the therapist. You have to start to dive deeper into why you made the moves that you made. What made you not mention to your friend
Yep.
that you were dating this guy? I'm sure
Perhaps.
you all talk about other things, but it appears to me that you may have been trying to maybe hide it, not bring it up. You already
Yep.
knew it was going to be a sore
Yep.
subject,
Yep. Yep.
maybe.
That's what I was thinking. So she knew it was going to be a tough conversation she was going to have, with the roommate. But think about the decision you made to surprise her by just seeing the evidence that he's there and, he spent the night there or something like that. I would have preferred if you made a decision to take a much more mature route. Of talking to her in advance and let her know, hey, remember that guy you went out with, how did that work out? Where I saw him again and, we decided to get together for coffee or drinks. Is that okay with you? I believe in asking
Hmm.
that person if you see one of their exes. I don't know if it's an ex or not. They went out on a couple of dates and letting them know, why would you surprise your friend of 8 years? What is up with that? Where you were so cavalier with that relationship? Again, a lot of history. You purchased a home together, but you seem to be so eager to get with this guy and invite him into your bedroom and to your house. Those are the things that I'm questioning. I would have preferred you had a mature conversation with her.
And then not just your house, invite him into y'all's house.
That's right. That's right.
Because now we have this much bigger issue. My next question is, you are 100% going off of what this guy said. Did you, not only did you not tell your
That's a good
friend
point.
that you were going on a date with this guy, but you're saying he said he went out with her and she was boring. And she's been so boring with me that I just believe she was boring. I didn't even bother to ask her how the date went or why they weren't dating anymore. You did not consider her feelings. We already said that, but you just didn't even consider her side of the story.
At
And
all.
then if indeed she was boring, that's all you needed to hear to feel like you need to move forward because you feel like you're not as boring as she is.
Mm. How much value do you place on your housemate who you purchased a home with when you, like Dr. Aisha said, believe this guy and the story that he told? And it looks like he didn't give a damn either.
Not at all. Not at all.
He,
He very well may have said whatever he had to say to get up in your pants in your house. The one to sleep in y'all's house where your roommate, does he have his own place or did he have to sleep with you because he lives with his mama? So I mean I just have a lot of questions
and
there.
how do you know that this guy really isn't a creep? He seemed so comfortable sleeping over in the house, knowing that he dated the girl in the other bedroom somewhere. How do you know he's not going to try to sleep with her too? How well do you even know this dude, who you putting before your friendship, with your roommate? I'm going to emphasize 8 years.
Hmm.
As you grow older, you're going to realize the significance of that. The 8 year relationship that you guys had and you purchased a home together, there had to be a lot of trust there,
Hmm.
had to be a strong bond for you two to do that. So her question, Dr. Aisha, is so why should I have to sell my house? Can you help me? So apparently the roommate's pissed off, you know.
Well, it's time for y'all to get divorced. So I want you to think about it that way. When I've heard people who are getting divorced, one thing that they mention is that we've grown into different people. And it
Yep.
appears that before the two of you had common interests and that you enjoy spending time together. But today in 2022, at 27, your interests still include going out and her interests include something else. You might want to have parties at the house and she's more of a homebody or she wants the house to be quiet.
An introvert.
She Right, exactly. And so that doesn't mean that either one of you are wrong in this sense, because I still think you're wrong for getting with that guy, but it doesn't mean that either of you are wrong in the sense of of one being a homebody and the other one going out, but it just seems that you all are different, and also that you're not as close as you used to be. You
Yeah.
have grown apart, and that's okay as long as you go ahead and separate before something pops off. Before y'all start physically fighting, before somebody gets cussed out, before somebody's clothes get bleached in the washing
That's
machine.
old school. That's old school.
Go
I
ahead and
don't
put
know.
that bleach in the bottom. So when you put your next load of clothes in there, all your clothes are messed up.
Yeah, that's old school right there. The 27-year-olds may not know about that. I don't know what
They
they're
don't know
doing
anything
these
about
days,
it.
but they might
Well,
post it on
bleach
a
still
video.
works. Bleach
But
still works. It's still $1 at the Dollar Tree.
but what I have to say to you, if you were my client, I would have to ask you, or point out, this is you dealing with the consequences
Hmm.
of your decisions, and the lack of value that you placed on your friendship with your housemate, and allowing this guy to come into your relationship. You put a lot of priority on him, and you didn't talk to her before. You allowed her to find out by watching him in the house, or discovering him in the house, is what it said. So right now we're gonna play this game called adulthood. And
Yeah.
in adulthood, this game, we have to face the consequences of our actions. Now, the best thing I can recommend to you is talk to your housemate who you purchased a home with, to try to smooth things over. You might want to offer a sincere apology for how you introduced this new relationship to your friend. But I don't know, Aisha, do you think she can do that by the tone of the letter?
It sounds like you are not in a place yet where you are accepting responsibility for your actions. I just want to bring you into awareness. And when I say you're wrong, it's not me judging you, it's me trying to help you understand that there's a reason that your friend is mad. You
Yeah,
can't ask for forgiveness when you don't feel like there's anything that you need to be forgiven for.
yeah, yeah.
And if you really feel like you haven't done anything wrong, then as Dr. Davis was saying, the logical consequence is that this woman should your friend should not have to live in an environment where she feels yucky and she feels negative and
Disrespect it.
she's uncomfortable and all of those things. So I would suggest that you get to talking to a bank about if you have the finances and the credit enough to refinance and keep the
And
house.
buy
If
her
you
out.
really love the house, buy her out of the house. Maybe she will sell it to you only for what's left on it, or maybe you all can make a profit off of it and both of you can buy equally nice, maybe not as big as that one, but equally nice houses elsewhere.
Yeah, but I hope you're learning a lesson with this about friendships, and people, especially after 8 years. I don't know, but I don't think the young lady deserved what you did to her. So now what she's doing is making an adult move and practicing some self care. Like Dr. Aisha said, she doesn't feel good about this relationship. I can imagine she doesn't trust you anymore. So she decided to remove herself from the situation and somewhere where she feels a lot better. And that means it's going to cost you something. You're going to have to sell the house. That shouldn't be difficult in today's market, but you're going to have to find a new
Yeah.
place to live. And I wonder what role is that new guy going to play in your world? I really would like to know, how is he helping out in this situation now that you've got to find a new place to live? You got to sell a house, and now you got to figure out your next step. Where is he? I would really like to have that conversation with her, but
Maybe sitting back watching, thinking about how the D was so good he made two women fall out in one house, made
look
them
at
have
that.
to sell
Guys
their
do
house.
that.
I know they do. I know they do.
Guys
I
to go
made
back
these
to
women
his
have to give up
friends.
their house.
Yep, friends, and bragging about it. But right now, 27-year-old female, this is about you. And we just have to face the consequences of our actions. Think about how you treated your longtime friend. Would you like for her to treat you that way? What could you have done differently? But now that we cannot turn back the hands of time, we got to figure out what's our next step. And if anything, this is going to help you mature a lot faster than perhaps you were anticipating.
So
So,
I think one other thing to keep in mind is it sounds like you have so many friends because you mentioned multiple times that your housemate doesn't have friends, you've tried to introduce her to people, you have people you hang out with. Maybe you have so many friends that one of them will want to buy into the house with you, or maybe you buy the house and they pay you rent. But what I'm gathering is that you're going to find out that maybe the friends you have right now are not half as good as the friend that you just threw away.
So that leads me into the homework assignment that I have for you. It's called a social network solar system. You know how we have the sun and the planets all revolve around the sun. I want you to think about and perhaps draw on a piece of paper. You're the sun, and then the planets are actually people in your world. And I believe what's the closest to the sun? Mercury is the planet. Think about the people who you want inside that close circle to you. These are close friends or family members or coworkers, people you share things with and you trust them a great deal. Who do you allow into that inner circle? And think about the other lanes that are beyond that closest circle. Where are you placing that new guy? And why do you place people in those lanes? And let's create some definitions, some criteria for why people are in those lanes. Because if you place someone out there at Pluto, that's the furthest planet, that means you're not going to share a great deal of
Mhm.
information with them. And there's a reason why you're doing that. It sounds like your roommate has placed you at Pluto or something out there like that, and she's making some adjustments. I want you to start figuring out who's in those friendship lanes and how are you going to relate to them, and what's the significance of having an 8 year relationship with somebody, and how are you going to hold on to that friendship, and feel free to move people from one lane to another depending on their actions, and where might you fit into the lanes of those other individuals that Dr. Aisha just talked about, those friends who you know. Are you as close to them as you think you are? And if you're going to treat a close friend like you did your housemate for 8 years, I'm assuming she was closest to you than other individuals. If you're going to treat them that way, you need to warn them, of how you're going to treat them so that they can make some adjustments so they can be prepared for it. So I call that a social network solar system.
I
Figure
like it.
out who is closest to you, why are they close to you, why are they there, and who deserves to be out there, so that you only talk to them several times a year, but you're still friends. So, because it sounds like you haven't realized the value of friendships and what it's worth for you. That's my homework assignment for you. Anything
I
else you
like
got?
it. No, no, that's enough for me.
All right. All right, guys. This has been a wonderful show today. I enjoyed this. Thank you guys for listening to Two Therapists and a Microphone. We're going to come to you live every Thursday, 7:30 p.m. in May. We're going to start coming on at 7
That's
o'clock
right.
p.m. on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We will see you guys next time. Have a good one.
Like this.